now we had like quick round of introductions. Some other people might join. I actually want to get started talking like what was actually like your first NFT purchase and why did you decide to buy that one?
So I can talk through my first purchase. I took a couple masters and business courses on blockchain, and I started to look into kind of blockchain utility in the business world. And I got on the subreddit, and there was a guy, Algochain NFT, selling a physically backed keychain backed by Algorand blockchain. And so just to experiment, I'm a very experiential learner. You know, I bought 2 Bitcoin back in 2014 to figure out how the hell that worked. Unfortunately, sold them like moments after buying them. But bought that, got it shipped to me, scanned the code, and saw the database entry and was just very impressed. So that was my first purchase and first utilized Algorand, first time utilizing the Algorand blockchain.
Nice. For me, actually, I was quite late to the game to discover the whole ecosystem here. I bought like the mostly not going out one. The reason I bought it was because the nice colors. I liked I don't know actually what it is, the flamingo-ish NFT, and part of it is of course the bragging rights and being part of this cool community. I think Tim is here, right? Yeah. So yep. and the cool mechanism that you also have behind it, like you're dropping the shrooms and you can participate in raffles. Like the whole community aspect was the thing that made me consider buying the MGNO.
Awesome. Yeah. So I'm Pimpy here again. My first NFT was definitely a giveaway from Stitchbot when he was first handing out the yieldlings. And I only got into the space because of that. Just coming in from, you know, finding out Yieldly on Reddit. I had joined like, NFT marketplace for maybe like a week before I was like, I don't need this, and I left it. And then like a month later, I'm like knee deep in it. So yeah. Then of course, I got some of them for free, started seeing some flips, and I was like, I should probably buy more at the shuffle. So that was really my first experience going in. It's yieldlings. And then from there, just seeing what's on AV2 and which ones are projects versus which ones are, you know, just one-off people. And I think the only one-off I bought right away was like a Matthias. I bought one of your pieces. So I was like, oh, this is neat and different. So it's good. Yeah, it's just spiraled out from there.
I also like the mechanism behind it. Like it's a combination of developers and art that made me want to get into this NFT.
Yeah, I could chime in on that initial purchase. It was a little bit nerve-wracking because originally I bought an Algorilla, and then it quickly escalated to the first Algowana drop where I kind of hesitated to buy one. I probably said this 100 times in the story, but then I FOMO'd into the next week for like 1,300 algo, which was a good purchase looking back on it. But it was a lot of money. If you're going to spend $1,000 on a JPEG and you don't, you know, it's one of your first times ever, and like within a month or 2 weeks of discovering the whole entire space, it's a little bit nerve wracking. But yeah, if you dive in, there's a lot of information. You just have to absorb it and you know, adapt.
Yeah,
I'd love to chime in here a little bit. My first NFT that I purchased with Algorand wasn't actually a real NFT. I realized later on it was a company, I think, called artsquare.io, that the Algorand Foundation posted on LinkedIn. And it was a piece by an artist that did the cover for
Hirsch.
No, I don't think it's that one. It's the guy that did what's it called? Cherry Blossom.
Yeah, it was Hirsch. The Cherry Blossom, I think.
Is that it?
Yeah.
No, the guy who made the album art for the Drake's latest.
Oh no, yeah, that's a different one.
I think it's from the UK. But I bought like 4 of them. I think it was a total of like 3,000 available. I only realized later I don't actually own any NFT, but I thought I did at the time. Fast forward about a month later, I know that Yieldly was having NFT prize games. So I thought it was, and I was curious about it. I entered them, didn't win unfortunately, but my first NFT I actually purchased on AB2 was Algo Blob. I'm not sure if anybody's familiar with them, but that was the first NFT I ever purchased.
No.
And from there I kicked off. I think I bought some mangos and started adding to my collection. And I thought, hey, it'd be really cool if we could do this too. And now we're here.
No, you're here.
I'd love to chime in on something kind of about everyone's stories, because mine was kind of the same. Is I think a lot of you understand the community aspect of it almost after, but there's like a thing to NFTs where like you take a second and consider it as a piece of art. Like I bought one of Mateus's pieces early on, and it's because I took the time, just because of the nature of what it is, to like consider it as a piece of art. I was like, oh wow, like I need this, and that's when like NFTs in general clicked for me. I don't know, it's just something kind of interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, thank you very much, actually. And I was today looking through my Reddit post history and my Reddit messages, because it's like, what was the first one I actually bought? It's so long time ago. It's like 7 months ago, and I can't remember. I cannot remember, which the first. I think there was giveaways, mostly giveaways at the beginning, and I won some of those.
Yeah.
And the first one I bought might be from Devon, from the GIF economy. The one I remember, it was Kurt's Candlestick.
Right. Yeah,
Kurt's
that's right.
Candlestick.
I remember that.
It's I really liked it too, and this is the first one I remember clearly that I back in the day it was you had to opt into the ASA and talk with the person and be like, can you send it over? How much is it? It was all based on trust on the blockchain, which is kind of hilarious, that it was based on trust. But we were doing it all through messages on Reddit. It was fun. Yeah, and also the prices were a little bit lower because of that. I think. I'm just, maybe. But I think that was one of
I remember it that way, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the price?
I think around 5 or 10. And that was a big one. That was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, that was
exciting.
And the algo was like $1 at this point.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's very interesting how fast the Algorand NFT space has moved, because I was talking with the RAM developer the other day about this. It's only been, we moved from Reddit, where, like Matthias was saying, it's Reddit chat messages and trusting someone that I send you 5 algo, you send me this NFT, to now we've got developers like Steph, we've got games like Alchemon, we've got outstanding projects like Algoana. And it's only been a matter of months, but it's moved so fast. I feel like I've known Matthias Trinley for 3 years. So it's almost like distorted time. And I only think it's going to go quicker as more and more people get on Algorand.
Yeah, I remember Silvio saying in the conversation with Lex Friedman that 3 months in the blockchain world is like moving from Stone Age to the Roman Empire or something, That's how it feels. It's moving so fast.
It's why crazy. 3 seconds.
So exists.
And it speaks to like the ease of building stuff too on Algorand, right? Like I'm not on the technical side, but like the coder that I'm, partnered with has mentioned it a bunch of times that like this is just a much easier language to build in than like, Solidity or something like that. Like it's made for developers almost. That's my understanding.
Kyle, you were saying something. Oh.
Yeah, I was just going to say my first experience was, I really credit to Chris Swenner. When I attended that VR auction, I didn't really know very much about Algorand NFTs. I had bought some NFTs on other chains, right, mainly Ethereum. But as soon as I saw that Chris Swenner wanted to buy that Reach Algo bot, I knew that I could not let him have it. by any means necessary. So that's kind of how my first purchase on Algorand was that AlgoBots NFT. But to echo everyone else's sentiments here, you're absolutely right. I mean, this space has changed so much, and even though there's still a lot more that needs to change before we can bring in the next 100 million users or 500 million users. If you look at the change between, for those of you who've been around, right, in crypto in 2016 and 2017 and today, the difference is really quite staggering, right? It's amazing. You see that at conferences. You see that with, what the banks are saying, what the financial institutions are saying, and obviously Algorand is poised to lead from that regard, right? So it's such an exciting time for all of us to be in NFTs and on Algorand.
Well, I think the one main reason Algorand's grown so fast, and just my personal belief on why it will continue to exponentially grow, the NFT space in particular, but also the DeFi space, is the cost of innovation and entrepreneurship on Algorand is incredibly low. Anytime you have very little barriers to innovation kind of thrives. And with a fee, a transaction fee of 0.001 algo, I mean, that's what allowed me and Kraken, the Rand Gallery developer, to create the game Light versus Dark, which was all based on asset playing cards and stuff like that. It's what allows people, an 18-year-old kid with an idea to create an awesome NFT project, unlike Ethereum, where that's going to cost you, upwards of hundreds of dollars, if not thousands. So very, very low barrier to entry.
Just want to add on to that with regard to Ethereum. When the Opulus team was starting out building their platform, right? Some of the people on the business side were just wondering, well, can't we just do all of these specific like data calls, queries, etc. on chain, right? And of course, it just was so funny because the CTO at the time was just saying, look, I need to make like 2 to 3 million queries right in the morning. So if each of those are like, $10 to $30, right? There's all of our funding in one day, right? So it really is insane.
Yeah, I wanted to add something. I remember the first time, really, like when the smart contracts started hitting the NFT space on AB2 and Rand Gallery, and it's just so fast and so seamless. And I was invited to Foundation also, and I tried to do something there. It's painful. It's like when you come from Algorand and you go into the Ethereum space, it's like, oh my God, this feels like from another era. It feels like the beginning of the internet. It's super slow, clunky, and with Algorand, it's so fast. It is so fast. It feels like using PayPal. It's like click, 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 done. It's amazing.
You have it. No sniping. I saw I think there was some news on Twitter yesterday about like a guy who made like a sniping bot, which is not really scamming, but it is shitty behavior. And he was like picking up like Bored Ape Clubs for like 1/10 of the price. This kind of weird stuff is not really possible on Algorand, so that's a win for us, I would say.
I have noticed some sniping going on AB2. Actually.
Still? Oh god.
Yeah, it's been the high-profile NFTs. It's really difficult to try to catch one on AB2. It might be fast hands. But it's actually something that I believe needs to be addressed because of the low barrier to purchase NFTs on Algorand. It's quite easy to set up a bot, win and capture the newly released ones. I've had excellent success with the Rand Gallery, but I think it's something that AB2 needs to.
I think this can also be a play for like the galleries to have like functionality where you can automatically set a buying price for an artist you want to follow and like immediately buy. So there is no need for sniping bots and everyone has a fair chance.
Well, it's hard because you compete against other people.
So we had this discussion with several creators, and basically like if you're a beginner, AB2 is fine, but once you start to sell out or have a certain following, I mean, you have to change your drop style. That's just reality.
Guys, I'm just so happy many of you have never experienced the the joy of minting NFTs on Ethereum, right? Because when there's a limited edition mint, right, let's say they're dropping like 500 or 1,000, it just becomes a crazy gas war. Like how much gas are you willing to pay for this free mint, right? So just even when I come to AB2 Gallery, I have very slow fingers, and certain collectors are much faster than I am. It's still a much better experience, a far cry from what Ethereum is, which is, do you want to pay $400, $600, $800, $1,000 in gas, right? How high are you willing to go to get the free mint? So very
calculating tax on a purchase, but tax is gas.
Hey guys, I'm Hugh. I'm an artist, not a tech guy. Just sort of sneaky, end up in places like this. Just wanted to talk to the point of minting problems and sniping. Is there anything in the works, long term, I would say, to have some sort of reservation system for basically reserving a certain portion of the mint before it happens for early clients, basically patronage.
I was talking to the Zestbloom CEO lately, and there's nothing official, but there is something of that kind being thought up of. It's just nothing official. But if you guys want that in the community, you should definitely express that and reach out to Rand or AV2 or anybody else. Like, just make that known, because that's a great feature, and I would like to see that as well.
Yeah, I'm not 100% on what the tech would look like for that. I just know that being able to bring a circle of patrons from one network to another, especially if they're people who are buying collections outright, the sales pitch of Algo is pretty simple. 0.01, pretty straightforward. So that would be a major plus for movement. Basically, that's what I just had to say about that.
Yes, so I just want to add something regarding drops. What Rand Gallery has been made recently is with the shuffle that you can do on Discord, and that prevent everything that you said, so bot or one
The
people
sniping.
can buy sniping of everything. So if you do a shuffle and only people who won, like did Pixel Guys too. So this shuffle option is really a good way to prevent everything. The only downside of that is that you don't know what you buy, but it seems so. In our project, we made a vote for every decision that we made. And the community said that they like shuffle, even if they don't know exactly what they will get in the
It's
drop.
fun, but you're getting from the exchange. So, the marketplace is also kind of a trust intermediary.
Yeah,
it's a pro and a con, I would say. But it works. Yeah, it works.
It's interesting about the shuffle. Like when Pixel Guys runs it, you're right. You don't know what you're getting, but it almost gamifies buying NFTs, and it makes it almost an entirely experience buying an NFT. You don't know if you won or lost. You get that message like, hey, you weren't lucky, sorry. And it gamifies it to a point where it's not just like you're just buying a JPEG anymore. You're trying to get into this exclusive community.
Yeah,
you
I'm
are
still in the losers channel in the Pixel Guys. Still
That's
got one.
hilarious. Yes,
We have our own channel there to bitch and moan about not having one.
and actually we are trying to get a Pixel Guys to put it in a giveaway for our Komodo owners, but we didn't get it since 1 month. So we want to get one, but just want to win the shuffle. We could buy it, but as you said, it's more fun to just try to get one through the shuffle, because it's just like a little game or like a lottery. It's just more fun.
I have a couple of things to say on the Pixel Guys. I happen to win a Pixel Guys shuffle last week, and I think it's fantastic. But just my thought process is if some projects, it's very hard to pivot their drop style, and they have an idea from beginning to end, and the team is not that large, so there's a bandwidth issue. But I don't mind the idea of a whitelist, like something he was saying earlier. If you're early on in the project, a portion of it could be blocked out for early adopters, because look, it's a 50 pixel 25 algo throughout the whole entire thing. So if I would have been them, I would have whitelisted the first maybe 100 people, 250 in the server, and they would have been able to get one piece and then only get one, enter the shuffles afterwards. There could have been a couple different things, because I want to get back in the losers channel. I miss my friends, but I'm in the other one now. But
You
it
can't
is just
come
funny.
back.
I
We won't
can't.
have
I
you
gotta.
anymore. Nope.
Oh,
The
I'm
loser
sorry.
channel gives me big FOMO.
But yeah, I think they should have a loser shuffle as well, in my opinion, like Algorand did.
Yeah, I actually wanted to say something to this because the way Yieldlings did it with and maybe Tim can say a little bit more about that, was everybody who had a Yieldling had sort of you would get a Mingo for each Yieldling, I think. And I copied that idea for one of my projects, one of my newer projects as well, that everyone who bought one of my first generative art project also had they automatically were on the whitelist if they wanted to, right? And I think that's it's quite important actually. And the other thing you can do is just like back in the day, as an artist having a studio, you have studio sales. If people approach you and you have some early collectors, you can reach out. You know, I think that's fine. That's what artists have done forever, basically. You have like a collector base that are always around, and you should also think about them and reach out from your own side, I think, you know.
Matthias, how are you able to do that? Because I'm reaching a point where we want to start giving back to, let's say the first 100 holders of the Bored Aliens, but actually facilitating something like that from the programming perspective, is there anybody that you can potentially connect with, or anybody that's in this chat that would be able to reach out, who can help assist with these types of give backs, rewards, and drops?
I mean, Tim can answer that too, I think, or Algorand probably. They have also an idea, but it's with bots, Discord bots, members only areas, etc.
Yeah, the guys who do Mingo NFTs, they actually reached out recently, and they've created this really cool bot that they can install on your Discord server, and it actually allows you to run a snapshot super easily. So at any time, you can go in there and get the bot, and it will just take a full snapshot, and you can and it gives you a downloadable spreadsheet. I think it's an Excel file, but you can convert it to a CSV, and that allows you to see all of the holders of your NFTs. So you get all the wallet addresses, you can see which wallets hold which NFTs. So something like that's really powerful, because you could then use that to effectively create and build out the whitelist for, an airdrop or whatever you're planning to do to distribute to those holders. So that's definitely one easy way. It's kind of, I'm like a lot of people in here, I'm not technical, I'm not a developer, but stuff like solutions like this are kind of, it's almost, there's so much we can do now, like from a no-code point of view, that it's really exciting. So I definitely check out those guys. I can connect you afterwards. I'll introduce you to the dev behind it. But it's a really affordable, accessible solution that allows you to run snapshots for airdrops.
Can I add, if you want a quick solution, we also have like the jobs channel in this Discord. Like, it's a dev-focused server, so there are many people who can help with like more basic tasks like snapshotting, sending transactions, automated scripts, and this kind of stuff.
Okay, because I would be looking at potentially onboarding somebody onto our team, full-time or part-time, that can assist with stuff like this, because we do have long-term plans to grow, and I think this portion of things is really crucial to future success.
Yeah, the main way I've seen so far is you can get the snapshots either from a one-time thing with like talking to any dev who knows how to look at the Explorer, or use the Mingo bot that Algorand is talking about. And then you just have a list of wallets that hold your assets, and you can talk to like Kraken, who has a lot of experience with the shuffles and such, to make a whitelist shuffle. Algo Leal is actually on now. He just did that for his people who bought his Parliament of the Owls collection. That was real smooth. Just happened yesterday. So it's definitely, people know how to do it in the space, and people are willing to do it. It's pretty exciting. As to the
Hello.
list in general, I think it would be great to get to a point where artists who have stores on different marketplaces can actually control their own allow list and deny list to create those, early pre-sale shuffles and things like that without having to worry about bots or such.
If you have,
and I think it's
if you're still looking for
sure.
someone, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, what I'm just going to say is it's just finding a balance between rewarding pre-existing holders and also bringing in new individuals into the community. But what were you going to say?
Oh, no, I was just going to say that you could also look at the person that has a Discord called How I Make a NFT. The guy, I used his Discord bot, and you can do a simple command of just export, which is what I did to get a snapshot.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I mean, we have the How I Make an NFT verification bot right now on our channel. And we do chat with Kraken quite a bit here and there. I would just wonder if there's any other resources that I could potentially look at, because I know these two individuals or these two teams they're quite busy as well. I'm always open to other suggestions too.
Sorry to jump in. I'm a developer, and we're offering this kind of solutions just as you asked. So I'm working on a project called NFT Space, which is sponsored by Algorand Foundation. So we are currently hedged in Algorand Foundation's accelerator. The aim is kind of we're aware this kind of problem, this kind of limited results, like you said, the problem. You want to whitelist user, you want to know who follows you. We're making this sense. I'm kind of quite to reach a demo stage, and hopefully next week or the week after next week, we can have a demo. It's like exactly as you kind of said, a kind of succinct of whitelist buyers, and we can create a platform kind of you can engage with your followers, like can be selective, and it will be kind of features. It's not exactly like it's called bot, but it's another channel kind of you can use to engage with your followers, apart from Discord, because Discord is not designed like for NFT, right? It's kind of a channeled message, but our backend is designed on chain. It's kind of really easy. Like you can pull all your NFT buyers if you like. You know who bought your NFT, and I'm also speaking with Kraken that I can integrate some of his feature to my website, like a gateway. If people want to buy it, we can direct them to run the gallery. This kind of things. We are kind of trying to work for NFTers, try to grow the ecosystem, and it's also kind of supported by Algorand Foundation.
Yeah, I think you should also connect. This is more becoming a networking event, and chill. This is good. It's good to see.
Would you forgive the question? What is Kraken in the context of Algorand NFTs?
It's the founder.
He runs Rain Gallery.
Gallery.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear all that.
Yeah, Starling, let's connect. Let's connect later on. We could chat about what you're working on. Okay.
I just want to say last sentence. So I'm really happy to listen to any ideas, and hopefully we can connect offline after this chat, and really want to offer some features to facilitate and grow the NFT community.
Right. Great. Maybe a different question. What do you guys think about NFT collateralized loans? Will it become a thing? And do you think there's going to be a market for it? There is one project live, which is NFT Fi. I think it's on Ethereum.
Hey, I've also invested in some other companies, like Strip Finance is also doing something similar. I think for Algorand, it's a bit too early. Of course, right? It's the NFTs right now are not. I think the price floors haven't inflated to where that would necessarily make a lot of sense. I mean, I think here in Miami, I've spoken to some people about how maybe you could fractionalize Goanna NFTs, but just in the roadmap with what Benji is doing, I think maybe that might be premature, right? Because there's a lot of other ways to bring in community members and just expand the community. But I think for sure it will end up happening. I think it's going to be very, very exciting. There's a lot of value you can unlock, especially if the price floors are quite consistent, right? Once your community has grown large enough and there's enough volume, as in the case of, say, Bored Apes or Ether Rocks, etc. But as it stands for Algorand, I think it's still a little bit early, but I can totally see that being a critical part of DeFi infrastructure.
Yeah, definitely. It brings more liquidity again to like liquid assets. Same with fractionalized NFTs. But in the end, like if there is a market for it, it works. Like the way NFTFi works is that you just agree with the one that wants to provide the money, like what's going to be the loan to value for this loan. And if there is someone that believes that Algorand it just sold for 20K, if it's 90% and they give you like, what is it, 18K algo for like a month, it works. It's just like, it might be a bit early because there are not so many really high value assets in the space. So, but there's a potential NFT DeFi. Yeah, go ahead.
I'll just add one other quick point, just because I think one or two artists have had some conversations over Discord about just some really interesting, like kind of even wacky ideas, right? But just with the utility of NFTs, it goes beyond the art, right? An NFT could really represent any kind of contractual agreement, right? So we kind of see this on Ethereum already with some insurance protocols, right? Like, like Nexus Mutual or Armor, where an NFT or buying this NFT signifies coverage, right? So if you buy this NFT, it entitles you to some amount of payout or a claim, right? If the smart contract in which you're yield farming, right, is hacked, right, or has some sort of critical bug, for example, right? So like when it comes to art, it's very interesting when you have a piece of art which is already valuable in and of itself and may give you access to communities, et cetera, to all the things in which we're familiar. But imagine if this piece of art also had some sort of interesting utility, like it represents an option, right? Or it gives you some added benefit when it comes to, DeFi, right? Maybe it's increased yield or something of that nature. And thinking even further, right? If you look at what Oculus is doing with royalty payments, these kind of things, of course, this is kind of where the regulation and the regulatory stuff and is this security or not kind of gets tricky. But I remember one of these artists was just telling me, hey, could I like sell NFTs that entitle the purchaser to something like 10 to 15% of profits of my NFT platform for the next 3 to 6 months or something of that nature, right? So unfortunately, I couldn't give him a very positive response because I think that's where you got to talk to a lawyer. But you can really see where a lot of this stuff can really take your imagination in some very interesting ways.
I was talking NFT fractionalization with someone, and God knows there's 1,000 guys trying to start record labels on Web3, but this guy was talking about NFT fractionalization as a proof of concept for view count and engagement for artists, and basically having a ranking based on fractionalization of artists who would upload to the platform. And I don't know if that's something that's been discussed here for you guys.
Not really, I guess. No.
I'm just still new to the idea of NFTs as coverage for royalties in music.
I can touch a little bit on the securities and royalties in general. We're trying to figure this out right now. We're actually operating in Canada, and we're speaking with our lawyer right now in terms of really, what is classified as a security, how is the art represented on the blockchain, and are NFTs purely artwork, or are they tokens? So everything is so new right now, and in terms of the legalities, I think it's something that the blockchain space, the NFT space, is going to have to work with the regulators on together to come up with definitions in order to protect both the buyers, the sellers, and the artists in general.
Right. One other interesting thing that I saw was, I'm not sure who it was on Twitter. I think even two persons that proposed like an NFT fund, and you could buy shares for the fund, 100 algo, and then some DAO governance would decide which art gets purchased. It was also pretty interesting concept to make it more liquid and like start trading the token which represents the share in this fund. It's also like NFT DeFi. Maybe you know
it's
who it
super
was.
cool.
Are you guys are you guys familiar with the Botto project on Uniswap? So they're doing something very similar to that, where the token is basically like a governance token on AI generated art that like basically like it like picks the best one, like the community does, and then they sell it, and then the profits are shared among the coin holders.
Right. Yeah, that's also interesting. I think we had something similar at Decipher, right? The bot. I don't know who was a Decipher. It was like a bot that also creates art. I forgot the name about it.
Interesting.
Yeah, with the DAOs, I think again, just hate to keep bringing up the big bad Ethereum, right? But there's been some very interesting just experimentation. So for those of you who might be on Twitter, you might have heard of the recent Constitution DAO, right? Or maybe Pleaser DAO, which was formed to buy a specific artist's artwork. Yep. But I think DAOs are just a very, very interesting concept, and I'm really glad to have spoken to some founders recently that are looking to build DAOs, right, of various types or purposes on Algorand. Because the really cool thing is that, in the past, if you were to pool money to buy some kind of asset, there's a lot of legal paperwork involved, right? There's a lot of trust, right, in third parties and escrow and all this kind of thing. But with DAOs, right, with smart contracts, it's all governed by code, right? It's all within the protocol natively. So then you have this really cool, idea where the Constitution DAO, they raised $40 million, right, in the span of, I think it was less than a week, maybe a couple of days, in an attempt to buy the Constitution. Unfortunately, they didn't, some hedge fund guy, Ken Griffith, bought it instead. But isn't that amazing that we live in a world today where 40 million can just, from retail investors, from just ordinary people like you and me, right, could just kind of come in a trustless manner, right, into a DAO and make these kind of purchases. So it's super exciting.
Yeah, man, even outside of the art world, that's gonna, like, the ability for smaller investors to pool their money and act in a way that like venture capital firms and hedge funds act is gonna, I think that's gonna change the world. Not to get off topic, but yeah.
Somebody was asking about that bot. It's called Sophia bot, I believe.
Yeah, Sophia bot, right.
So I just wanted to say something about the NFT staking. I'm trying to understand how it's going to generate yield. And like, for example, if you fractionalize something, let's say Yieldy was talking about NFT staking. It's like, if you fractionalize it, are you going to be able to recuperate that like fractionalized NFT and like, I guess, make it whole again and like use it or resell it? Like, what is the functionality of that going to be? I'm trying to wrap my head around.
Yeah, I was thinking about, there's these things where you can buy fractionalized artworks, and I mean, I'm also buying physical art from people I really enjoy, and I save up quite a bit of money to do that because I believe in their art and in the growth of the value of their art. Now, why would I ever buy a fraction of a really big blue chip artist? I want to have it hanging in my home, I want to look at it also. So this, I don't really fully understand it. It just becomes a financial asset at that point, and it loses for me at least,
the art aspect.
Yeah, like something you put up with some other art you collected, and you try to arrange it in your living room, and it just changes the living room, But if it's just a fractional thing somewhere that makes you, maybe that generates wealth, which is great, but it's kind of weird for me somehow.
I think it addresses like the two types of person that we have. Like we have the pure art collector that buys things because they like it, and you have also like the one that tries to flip their art and make a profit. So I think the NFT space will go in both directions in the end.
Yeah, and I'll add to Mikhail's statement here. If you look at, say, like tokenized real estate, right, that Lofty is doing and some other companies are doing, for myself, I'd rather, own the house, right, as opposed to owning like a fraction of it. But again, it goes back to, is it kind of more speculators, or are you buying it for some kind of utility? And in some of the other examples raised, right, if you were buying like some sort of financial instrument that's an NFT, right, well, owning a fraction of it is, again, for that monetary purpose, right? You're getting a percentage of that cash flow, et cetera. But I understand your sentiment when it comes to the art, right? I think owning like 5% of a piece of artwork just doesn't feel or sound as impressive as just having it, right? Just actually having the full thing. I'll add one other thing really quick. Like on Ethereum, there was another interesting experiment where the original, if you're familiar with the Doge meme, right? Like the Shiba Inu, it's like, wow, very much it's such, et cetera, right? That particular meme. The creator of that meme actually fractionalized that NFT, right, into dog coins, this DOG, right? And by owning a percentage of that $300 million NFT, right, which I think is the market cap, you get access to this Discord community, access to all these events, et cetera. So people get creative with it too, right? Even if though you own a piece of that artwork, you're still part of the community.
Yeah, like people are doing like these airdrops based on like who owns a certain NFT. It's like, I think you also explained it, Kyle, like it gives you specific discount rights. Like it gives you rights to certain things that you wouldn't have without owning the NFT. I think someone was going to say something.
Yeah, I kind of like to buy into every community, as many as I can afford to. I feel like that gives people a huge advantage in what's coming next, information to trends, and it gives you, I guess, an advantage in that regard if you want to be a collector. And I myself started off as a flipper, and I became, I kind of break it down into 4 categories. It's a flipper, a trader, a collector, then you become an investor. So it's like a progressive thing for me. I guess I'm on the collector status. I'm not quite an investor. But, my philosophy, I share this with some other guys, John Mazzoni as well. It's kind of like I'm more in the category of buy the art you like in case it goes to zero, worst case scenario.
Can we talk about the storage of the artwork on IPFS in the blockchain and, how that whole function works? Because I did a bit of research into IPFS, but I would love to hear it from everybody else as well.
Please, I think maybe anyone
Steph make it can tune in if he wants to.
Yeah, sure. I can tell a bit how it works. Every time someone uploads an NFT, on the Artroom we do that, and almost all NFT collections nowadays do that. They content hash it on IPFS, which gets an address that's based on the image content. So if you upload the same image again, you get the same address, and that's how you can find it. And in this system, it's a torrent system, so there are seeders and leechers, and the seeders keep your content up. So most of the time, your NFT is not that popular, so you have to pay someone to seed it for you. On the Artroom, that's done for you, but you can make an account and it's basically free if you don't store that much. And through this decentralized node system, your NFT is always up, and the link is always available because it does not link to a certain map somewhere, but to the content address, which can be replicated. And this basically guarantees that the NFT never gets the image never gets lost. Where maybe a Google Drive link or something like that will break in the future, and it is built into the asset, and that cannot be changed, that link. So it's very important to make the IPFS to make sure it will always be there.
But is it not like that most projects or like marketplaces, like they store the IPFS link, but to retrieve the image they will use AWS or some other storage mechanism to like fetch it a bit faster? Because like retrieving it from IPFS is like often very slow if your image is indeed not so popular. Like most NFTs are not fetched on a daily basis, so.
Yeah, we keep a double copy. So we store it on IPFS, but on the site you never see the IPFS image. We store it on our own servers as well to keep it fast. Otherwise, every image would take like 3 to 4 seconds to load.
I know you have your own standard, like smart NFTs, but like the ARC69 standard, allows you to specify, I think, a second link, where you can upload like your high resolution image. So you have both the IPFS link and the high resolution image in the standard.
Oh, is the standard image then not the high-res version?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you store the high-res version on IPFS?
Or yeah, no, I'm not sure. Like they have both links, one to retrieve it quickly and one to like store it on IPFS.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Is it more expensive to store like the high resolution version on IPFS?
No, it's not really that expensive on IPFS.
Right.
Storage in general is not that expensive anymore. The most costly thing is the bandwidth, how much it's fetched. So if your image never gets fetched, it's pretty cheap to store. But if your image is really popular and you want to load it fast, you have to have your own IPFS gateway, which you can make. Most people use Pinata, but you could make your own. That's way faster. And there will be most of the cost in serving the image. So the storage is not really the problem.
I see. Yeah, I saw Pinata as well. It's nice.
Guys, I have
someone
to
is
hop off now.
Yeah, go ahead. We'll run until 8 and.
Oh, okay. Okay, sounds good. It's a pleasure meeting all of you. If I don't jump back on, but look forward to working with you all.
We love you.
Someone is calling out Alchemon Cliff, so Cliff, say something.
Yeah, hey, any questions?
I'm not sure if there were questions. They were like, has Cliff spoken yet?
No, not yet. And I do have to go soon, but here's what I'll say. We're in Miami. We'll be at the Yieldly get-together tonight, and then tomorrow at the Foundation DeFi Summit, or whatever it's called. So we'll definitely be around in Miami these next couple days. We're very excited. Right now, Yieldly, we're in the no-loss NFT lottery, so stick your tickets there if you want to try to win some great cards. We're working on set 4. Set 3 has basically gone way faster than we ever could have imagined. Just like about a month ago, I thought I was crazy for minting 6,500 of 15 different NFTs, but now they're basically almost all gone. We maybe have like 100 to 200 left to distribute. So things have just been going crazy, which is really awesome. We love all our players. We appreciate all the support. I got to hop off on some meetings, but
love it.
Trying to know what I can leak. We're trying to work more with people in the community. We definitely have... We're working with Project Ajir for this week. We're giving away some of their NFTs. We're also working with Magical to do some one-of-one art pieces that should be coming out near the end of this week. So if anyone's looking for any one-of-ones in the Alchemon style, we definitely will have those by the end of the week. Otherwise, we're just working hard, pushing forward, and working towards set 4.
Nice. Thank you. Maybe some last question to wrap up. I will try to quit around 8. Do you think it's crucial for the NFT space to like adopt, I like to call them Web 2 designers, like designers, artists from outside of the space? I saw already that like Darkroom is onboarding quite a few, which is really nice.
I think that's the long-term key, right? Like we're not going to survive otherwise, right? Like I think one huge thing to that too is like we've done an awesome job, especially in this community, of like cornering like the community use case, right? But I think a lot of the art is, if we want to engage people off chain, right? It's like a twofold thing. You got to sell them on the idea of blockchain in general, and then also on the idea almost of digital art. And I'm interested to see what approaches folks have taken, especially Darkroom.
Yeah, I would like to say something. I had not a lot of people, but once or twice a month, somebody reaches out to me through Instagram or one of the, the old school channels, let's say. Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh, I see you making NFTs, and I'm also a traditional artist, using pencil and like these old things. And they ask, how is it working? What is going on? I'm interested, So there's a lot of interest there. And the question is, of course, how you reach out to these people. There's like I think there's immense potential and really great creative people, artists who are flying under the radar because, they were too late, or they didn't catch it, they didn't understand it fast enough. And the old ways of selling art are very clunky. It's just very clunky and difficult. And there's the middleman, the middleman.
The Twitter space has really become the marketplace for art. I sometimes like to go to AB2 or Darkroom to do some shopping, but most of my thoughts get influenced by my Twitter stream. So it might be hard for some new artists who come like in the algo community to start.
Yeah, I always
understand
tell them,
like how to get
it
away
from Instagram and make Twitter. That's step one. Step one, close Instagram.
It's weird. It's weird for images.
Just let it flow, whatever. But make a Twitter, reach out, and it's gonna work.
All right, guys. I love you guys. I'm gonna sign off, but thank you, Michiel, for putting this together. And
thank you.
This is a lot of fun, guys. Have a great rest of your week, everyone.
Cool.
Can we add something before
sure.
finish? So as some of you know, we are just a new project in Algorand. So we have started 1 month ago. So we know. What we did. We started with Reddit, then go on Twitter, and after Discord. So that's what we did. And of course, I think one of your question, Michiel, was what do we need a Discord for a new project? And I guess for every big project, I think we need to have Twitter for exposure for sure. But to build community, you need to have a Discord or a Telegram or something that's not Twitter, because Twitter will build the exposure, but not the community that will discuss about your project. That's the big thing. And if someone needs to start a new project and doesn't have a clue how to start an Algorand, I guess that should just focus on Twitter, Discord, or maybe at Matthias said, maybe Instagram and Telegram, but just do not take some too much time to try every platform.
Everything at once.
Just focus on one for exposure, one for the community, and I guess it worked out for us for this month. So I guess it's a good approach, and do not try to spend too much time working on different. If you are on Reddit, Instagram, Telegram, etc., you will just spend too much time trying to do things, and it will not do much, because as Michiel said, it's just about you need to be in face. Someone needs to see your work, so you need to post much on one platform, so someone will see your work at least. Because if you don't do that, no one will ever see your work, and the project will not grow as much as he could have just having one or two social media. It's our opinion from a new project.
Yeah, I don't know if I can just hop in for a minute. I don't know if that's okay with you, Michelle. I know you wanted to wrap up at 8.
Last one.
Awesome. So yeah. So it's really cool. I'm hearing you guys like share what you guys are doing and everything. And from my, I just wanted to talk about a few things as some kind of I work kind of like as an NFT technical consultant for people for a lot of projects, and so I wanted to start with the fact that I think one of you mentioned having to get other artists and everything on board, and you mentioned being late and everything. I think in my experience, what would be interesting to do is the NFT space is actually pretty new, and every day there's new and crazy ideas about things you can do NFTs to make them even more unique. And I think that's becoming the challenge, because it's no longer you do a couple of generative NFTs and they just bang. You need to be more creative. You need to bring in royalties and even more interesting stuff that we're seeing today. Make it unique in the sense that kind of pulls the community to it, right? So there's definitely room, but of course all these people can come in, but you need to be more creative. And I'm really really excited to see the new stuff that people come up with to kind of give value to the NFTs. Another very interesting thing about NFTs is that we have to understand that it's really still new, and there is use cases that we're not even thinking about right now. A very simple one is with the metaverse coming up, NFTs are going to kind of have like a whole new use case, and I think that's going to like give a lot more value to NFTs, because like they're digital, and with the metaverse being a digital space, they kind of just fit into that whole area, right? So that's something I think it's also very exciting for me to see what people will be doing in that space. And lastly, from like a more technical point of view, because I mean, I also a bit technical as well. It's I mean, on Algorand specifically, it's kind of new compared to other let's say other blockchains. I'm talking here about like the language and everything, and I say new, it's because like there's not a lot of developers on it, so it's this, like, for example, I don't know if any of you have thought about royalties. You see that right now on Algorand, you kind of have to do like some kind of what we call in programming a go around, right? Because like it's not there yet. They're still trying to write specifications and everything. But I think as this space grows, we have tooling coming up, like what one of you spoke about, tooling for NFT creators and everything. I think it's going to be awesome. I know a lot of people who are trying to build NFT tooling right now, because it's really something that a lot of people are looking for. The state of the art right now, like most of you mentioned already, is using Discord bots and everything. But I'm very sure a couple of months down the road, we're going to have like stuff that can really help do all of what we are trying to achieve with NFTs and other stuff as well. So I think those are the few things that I kind of just picked up. I joined a bit late, and I just picked up from a few guys, and it's really cool to just hop in and throw that in.
Thank you. Awesome. So I don't want to take too much of you guys' time. If you want to continue the conversation, there's now an NFT chat, an NFT show your work for the shilling. And thank you all for coming to this event. It's been a success, and hope to do more, maybe on Twitter. Let's see.
Thank you so much for hosting.
Thank you all, guys.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thanks for the audience. Cheers.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.